Okay, so in the last couple of series, we have touched on assets, service locations, and function locations, and warranties. Now, in next couple of videos, we'll be talking about agreements or contracts. Typically, agreements can be of two types. It could be on asset level or otherwise on business level. So it could be, let's say, a facility company that has a contract of cleaning services with the business. So that could be a contract. Second could be maybe an HVAC company or a solar plant that is managing repair and maintenance of the plant. So for that purpose, there could be a contract. So how do we set up these contracts? How do we apply these contracts when setting up either organizations, customers, or assets? And how do we evaluate or check the renewals that are due? These are a couple of points we'll be discussing in this video. So when you go to assets, you have agreements. So as a business, whatever kind of agreements or contracts you have in place, that can be accessed here. So we can see that this business has about 10 contracts running right now. Okay, if you click on any contract, you can get into the details, like so it could be probably for an asset. Okay, as we can see now, there can be cases wherein the contract fulfillment obligation may lie with either a vendor, so it could be a third party vendor, or otherwise you as a business. So if you have somebody else providing a contract service to you or maybe on your behalf, then you can specify that also. Then of course there are agreement terms, all the terms and conditions that you may define. You may define what kind of PMs are covered here. So the frequency, number of free services, number of work orders or jobs that you would perform. So all those terms and conditions can be defined in agreement or contract type, and then you can link that contract to an asset. Okay. So this is how you can access the ongoing agreements or contracts. Now let's say you want to filter or you want to evaluate how many contracts are due for renewal in the next couple of days or weeks or months. So you run the filter and you can check contracts on various parameters. So from here you can check how many are due for renewal. Maybe you want to check for next 180 days. You simply apply that and run the filter. You can see this agreement is due for renewal in the next 90 days or maybe 180 days. So this is how you can run filter on various criteria and derive the results. Of course, you have a couple of options, like for example, you can export all the data of your agreements. Then you may customize these columns also. So currently it includes only asset, customer, agreement period, etc. But if you want to include more items out here, you may do that from customizing the column. Lastly, how do you set up the agreements? I'll be talking about everything in detail for each feature in the next couple of videos. So this is a quick overview. In warranty and agreement settings, you go to type management, and in type management you can see you have agreement types. So currently we have 3 types of agreements that we have set up as default, and that can be linked with various kind of assets or customers. If you wish to set up a new contract type or agreement type, you can do it from here. You can define the name, you can set up the name, define the code, duration, and the period. Okay. Now here you can set up what would be the frequency of service, okay, how many inspections or PMs are covered into it, number of jobs that would be doing, again the frequency or recurrence of same. And lastly, if you have any sort of SLA document or any sort of other contract document that needs to be attached to this agreement, you may do that. So maybe your business provides three type of contract services, and you can set up three contracts. You can attach all the terms and conditions related to those contracts out here. Okay. So this is the way you can set up the contracts. Then you can link it to specific assets or otherwise specific customer, and based on those contract types you can provide the services. Lastly, the question could be, how would your technician come to know what are the contract terms? So it's simply like when you are creating a work order or maybe a PM or inspections, you would always be able to see, and your technicians would be able to see, what are the terms and conditions of the contract. So this one doesn't have any contract link to it. Maybe we'll go to something else. Okay, so this one has, they can always refer to this agreement, and it would have the details of number of free services, etc. And we can see this contract, this work order is under this contract, wherein the contract will expire on 2022. Okay, and with other specifics, of course, the technician would know whether this is SLA covered or contract covered, and whether it is to be billed or not. So this is how contracts or agreements work in Field Circle. In the next couple of videos, as I said, I'll be walking you through each aspect more thoroughly. Okay, if you have any question related to this, please drop me a message and I will be happy to answer. Thanks for watching.